All right. We're back for another episode of the Bad Ideas podcast with Dhiraj Chhabra. Did I pronounce it correctly?
Yes, you did.
Kind of.
You're
I
very
think the
few
T.
of the people who can pronounce it right.
Yeah. The T is a struggle, but thank you for the coaching. I appreciate it. So you're the CEO of BuzzClan at present. How did you get there?
So not many people know, I actually ran a business before this. I started in 2005, sold in 2008, and I moved to US during 2007, 2008 timeframe. And, I was working with Verizon, and I was doing cloud infrastructure for Verizon. So we were actually building cloud for Verizon in 2008 when not many people have heard of it. So that journey, took a complete different turn. I always had that, DNA in me that I want to start something on my own. And then I was doing my MBA in 2012. I did my MBA from UT Austin, McCombs School of Business, great school, by the way. And I was taking a class on entrepreneurship. And right after that class, I had this light bulb moment because we had a professor named Rob Adams, who actually wrote a book called If You Build It, Will They Buy It? And we were supposed to read like 1 or 2 chapters a day, but I read the whole book one night and then attended his class. And the basic idea was if you see a gap in the market, and if you are confident that that gap is good enough for your business, you should, write a business plan and execute it. And that's where we had this moment that there were not many North American Oracle partners who were implementing Excelogic Exalytics, which is Oracle Cloud Infrastructure platforms during that time. So we started this business when we were among very few Oracle partners, and we grew from there. So and here we are, 11 years into the journey, and by God's grace, we're doing great.
You had a light bulb. So we were talking about this before the show. Was it the idea or the market itself that was really motivating for you when you started to look at it?
So obviously the idea was interesting. I would not say that, that idea did not have any kind of impact in it. But I would say most of it is execution. A lot of people, even at that time when I was telling people that, hey, I'm going to open a consulting firm, and they were like, hey, there are thousands out there, whatever. But I knew my market. I knew that, okay, I can execute it because I've done that before for some other firm. I knew the gap. I knew the execution plan. So I really emphasized on the execution plan more than the idea. And then, of course, there's one other thing which not many people know, that the company was started on just 2 products, Oracle 2 products. Somehow those products did not pick the way we were anticipating. So we had to pivot in 2017. And then again, we took some more partnerships, started entering US government sector, many state clients, many city clients. What really helped us is whenever we were thinking of, hey, something is not working right, I always took 2 steps back, rewrote the plan, rewrote the execution plan, and then that pivot has really helped us. So I would say it's more execution than the idea.
Yeah, and that's the message. That's the purpose of the show.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're queuing it up perfectly though. So now that people know where we've come from, I mean, for context, how many staff do you guys have today at BuzzClan?
So we have offices in US. So we have our headquarters here in Dallas. That's where I'm based out of. Then we have an office in Washington, DC. Then we have offices in Canada. We have 2 offices in India and 1 small office in Kenya. All together, we are around 700 plus people.
Jesus.
Yeah. So so it's a huge staff. I mean, I never thought that the company will grow up to this size.
I don't know.
And we have been growing at a phenomenal pace. This year, last year, we were 3rd year in a row fastest growing company in America on INC 5000. This year, 3rd year in a row fastest Asian American business in America. Dallas 100, you name an award, we have it by God's grace. And and we were just thankful to be here.
It's that plan. I mean, that's the secret. We kind of
It's
like,
just getting started. I'll just say that it's just getting started.
yeah.
So,
But I mean, you had a plan and you followed the plan. I think it's awesome to have that on record from you,
yeah,
because I think that's what folks really need to hear. Like, it doesn't really matter what the idea is or if it works
yeah,
or not. It matters
yeah,
that you have a plan, and like you said, you take a step back and reevaluate it when you're not getting the results you want.
yeah.
That's the magic. All right. Let's do it for a silly idea. What do you think?
Sure, let's go ahead.
All right.
And I've heard a lot of them before, also.
Yeah, I imagine your team brings them up all the time. So
Yes.
this is a really bad idea. Let's take a look at what we have for today. All right. So our bad idea is
Mhm.
Elevator Small Talk Generator, an app that spews out random facts and icebreakers in elevators, ensuring you never have to endure the awkward silence with strangers again.
I mean,
So the market gap of quiet elevators, is that the problem this is solving? Like,
there can be two market gaps. One is quiet elevator, and second is, some introverts, may feel comfortable. But then,
yeah.
think of it. How long is the journey? By the time you open the app, you look at the idea, the ride is already gone. So, I mean, yeah, I don't know what to say on this one.
I mean, it's like a pickup line generator, but you're right.
See,
Your
if it was a
environment is
pickup line
limited.
generator, it can still work if you have read it before entering the app. That, hey, if you're anticipating that I am about to enter the elevator and anything can happen, you open the app and you already memorize 5 or 6 lines, and you're expecting a girl or whatever, right? In the elevator, and if you have memorized those lines, it can work,
Uh-huh.
right? But then who's going to invest in it? I mean, there are 10,000 billions of websites out there which are
Yeah.
doing that. So I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
just trying to think. I mean, the point you brought up of the limited space you have to deliver value, which is just 15 seconds at best.
Yeah.
Like if you're in a really big elevator.
Yeah.
I don't think there are a lot of businesses that are limited by that. I mean, it's almost like advertising, right? Like you need people to receive your message in 30 seconds, otherwise the value is not there. Like
To
what
be honest,
other?
most of the pitches are that way as well.
Yeah.
Most of especially when you're a startup, and I remember my days that I would go to these conferences and I would meet some potential clients. Sometimes, if I'm lucky, I land at dinner or lunch, and then of course the conversations were more elaborate, and I get more time, and
Mhm.
I would be able to sell. But sometimes, you get these speed dating kind of uh, one-on-ones
Mhm.
with the clients, with so we have a booth or something, whatever. At that time, you just have 30 seconds or 60 seconds to pass on your message, and it should be effective that you land a meeting.
Mhm.
But at that time, I think it's more about how well prepared you are and how much research have you done about the other person.
Mhm. You
Before.
couldn't use an app.
Yeah, you cannot use an app.
It's not going to
You
get it.
would fall on your, yeah, you cannot use the app for sure.
It's just not going to get it done.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, I mean, that's where I think AI becomes really interesting. I know there's a lot of pygmy and pylons, but the vast volume of information that can be processed really quickly, like could in theory come up with something unique and custom in time to deliver it to you in the app. What about, make this a little different? If you could find a way to promote the app so everyone knew about it, and you could just hand the app to someone and like the interface would do the ice breaking, does that have more value?
I would, while thinking about it, and since you are wearing glasses, it just came to my mind. If you integrate the app with the glasses,
All right.
and there's an AI component to it, which is researching the other person at the same time while you are in the elevator, that can potentially work. So, for example, you and I meet in the elevator, right? You're wearing your glasses with AI, which I don't know anything about, right?
Mhm.
And that app is integrated in your glasses.
Yeah.
Now, knowing more about me, you start a conversation about, say, UT, right? Or football or cricket or whatever I like based on the research which your AI algorithm is doing, it may lead to a conversation. It may lead to some, many other things. So that can actually work if it's done right.
So you just came up with a product that every business development rep in the country would buy instantly if it existed.
Yeah, I would buy it.
Right? Imagine.
At least I would try it and see how's the response time. I mean, and again, we are thinking of that the AI algorithm has to be instantaneous, because within those 15 seconds, that algorithm has to research about the other person, has to feed something interesting, and you have to read it or listen to it and say it. So there's a bunch of parallel processing going on.
Yeah. Well, I think do you guys use any like sales development tools like Apollo or
Yes,
Zoom
we use
Info?
Apollo, we use HubSpot, we
Yeah.
use a bunch of our other internal products as well.
HubSpot I think it's partnered. They have an enrich tool, but you know how Apollo will tell you like what to use to start the conversation with the person based on their history. Plus, they show you. No,
Yeah.
even
LinkedIn Sales Navigator tell you that now.
They give you prompts. Wow.
They give you prompts now.
Yeah.
They just started.
That's extra creepy.
Yeah.
But I mean, you think facial recognition software plus one of those platforms, and what you have is a reality. It just needs to deliver it to your glasses somehow.
It just needs to. Yeah, it can definitely work. And I mean, Microsoft owns LinkedIn, and if they can build or maybe tie up with Ray-Ban or whatever, and do something like that, it can actually work.
The HoloLens BDR version.
I know Google tried with their glasses, all that stuff. But with the new, AI revolution, if they tweak it, I'm pretty sure they're thinking about it. I mean, if we are talking about, I'm pretty sure, knowing, Google's of the word, I'm pretty sure there's some product in the mix about it. Maybe we'll see it soon.
Yeah. We'll have to send them a letter with this episode on it and demand some equity.
We should. I know some people in Google. Maybe I can reach out.
There you go. So that's interesting. So we think the elevator is too short a period of time, but there is value in helping people generate conversation by connecting the person they see to some background information. Yeah.
Yeah, and another thing is, sales is something which, there are some born salesmen, you call it, right? That extroverts with a skill of connecting with people instantaneously, right? So those are what you call born salesmen. But then there are people who are still good at sales, even if they are not out there, right? Those people take out time to research. They plan their meetings really well. They plan the agenda, they plan the scope, everything. For both the set of people, if something like this exists, it can be a huge value add.
Yeah.
And it can, really deliver. So yeah, again, we're going back to, it's in the execution.
Yeah. So you need to build it, then you need to sell it, then you need to support it. But it seems like all the pieces are there. It's really just the hardware, right? Like that's the main barrier.
I think hardware with new chips and everything, I'm pretty sure hardware should not be difficult.
All right, so we're going to start this business then. Like this is a real one.
Let's get the seed funding done.
Do you guys deal with hardware at all in your business?
See, we have a cloud infrastructure portion in which we help customers, rack and stack, do cloud migrations. In that sense, we deal with hardware, but that's about it. Not much. Yeah.
Just do you think the fact that operations and SOP regarding software is so portable that's helped you guys scale at such a rapid rate?
Can you rephrase that question?
Well, I'm thinking in the context of a business like this, where in theory, if you produced hardware that everybody wanted and delivered this value, you'd have back orders for months, maybe years when you went live.
Yeah, CapEx. Yeah.
And I think with a software business, like you have your central knowledge base, your operating procedures, all your training materials, that's pretty portable. But when you're manufacturing something and you're turning it from zero all the way up to thousands of units on a recurring basis, now you're holding inventory, you're managing the inventory, you're making the product.
Yeah.
I just have no personal experience like scaling a business quickly around that kind of infrastructure on top of the people problems, which I'm sure you guys dealt with too.
People problems exist as you grow the business. The people problems are very different when you are a 20 people team versus a 50 people team versus 100, 200,
Yeah.
500. Every next scale you reach, there's different set of people problems.
Mhm.
Uh,
So
and and
unavoidable.
and if you're not good at it, or if you do not know what to do about it, you would not be able to scale. So that exists.
Mhm.
Doesn't matter what business you're in.
Mhm.
But hardware business, you're absolutely right that it's more capital oriented. So I would need way more money upfront to start something like that.
Mhm.
Versus in the software business, it's all brain power, and comparatively, I'm not saying that brain power is cheap.
For sure.
Obviously, you got to hire the right set of people who are very expensive. It comes down to that, but you can still um, try and scale it with the limited amount of people you have, and then once the cycle starts, then you can keep building on it.
Mhm. Yeah.
But with hardware, of course, you have to build the inventory and then store it and then ship it, and there's a bunch of supply chain issues which can crop with it. So and I don't come from a business family. My mom and dad both were teachers, right? So um, you know did not come with huge money to the table. I bootstrapped everything, put all my savings when we thought of doing this. So I personally feel that unless you have a backing of some strong investor, or you can take a if SBA approves it, if you can take a big loan,
Mhm.
then you can do that kind of business.
Mhm.
But I'm pretty sure there are entrepreneurs out there who have done great with capital
Yeah.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah. It's an interesting time. I feel like demand for the new and the latest is so instantaneous now.
Hmm.
The second something new happens, it either expands to everybody or it dies because then the next thing is released a month later.
Yeah.
Um, so I think there's a lot of information and service businesses that are doing fairly well because there isn't that additional hardware barrier. It's limited to labor and systems.
I mean, a lot of now you talk about social media, right? A lot of Insta influencers are millionaires. I mean,
Yeah.
so and all they have to do is just generate new content. I mean, that's a business idea. Again, new content is also requires a lot of mind, a lot of planning, a lot of those things, but it's still very less compared to a hardware business or anything which requires more capital. It's still way less expensive to start and maintain,
Hmm.
and you can get there.
Yeah, the
So
returns are there. But
yeah.
you can't, I mean, even what Mr. Beast is the biggest influencer in the world. And I think his staff is like 30, 40 people. I don't think you could build 1,000-person company just on like social content, at least not yet. Right?
Have you heard of Nas Daily?
No.
Google it. Nas
Yeah.
Daily. He is. I'm a big fan. He does 1 minute videos of content, very unique content. That, hey, have you seen the fittest guy in the world, or have you been to uh, you know let me tell you about this country which is so small but all the people are more than 90 years of age. So it brings really unique content to the table. um and you know uh so there are people like that, and then there are other businesses also which are copy paste businesses. What do you call it? Have you heard of Samware Brothers?
No. What do they do?
So Samware Brothers are, I think, three brothers based out of Germany. And what they do is they started with first copy of eBay in Germany. So that was Germany's eBay,
Hmm.
and then they sold it for like 43 some $1 million within like few months. Then they
Jeez.
started a Germany copy of Groupon, And they sold, and they built that company within 5 months, by the way. Look at the scale. I'm pretty sure Groupon took like 5 years to build that versus they took 5 months. So look at the execution power of these guys.
Yeah.
So build that company within 5 months, and then they sold it for $150 million or something like that.
Jeez.
Right? So their whole model is to pick a successful company which has done it. Of course, the successful company had the idea, took a while to execute it, but
Mhm.
all they did, if you see, is copied that execution because idea already existed, right?
Mhm.
And then streamlined the execution from 5 years to 5 months, built a company and sold it to in most of the cases, I think the first company, which was a copy of eBay, sold to eBay. The second
No.
company, which was a copy of Groupon, I think sold to Groupon or something like that. Like they've sold to the similar kind of companies. And then finally they started something called Rocket Internet.
Hmm.
And then they basically brought in, they said, if we can do this in Germany and Europe, why can't we do this in the whole world? So they brought in bunch of entrepreneurs from all over the world. And the focus is just execution. And I was reading somewhere all the companies combined are worth $32 billion now. And all of
Jeez.
them are copies of, you know, the
Wow.
unicorns of US. So
Maybe
yep.
maybe a retirement project, but
I mean,
it's,
I'm pretty sure they're young. I mean,
yeah,
but you see the power of execution, right? I mean, just
that's what we're talking
imagine,
about.
just imagine setting up a company, growing it, and selling it within 5 months of starting. And that too for a north of $100 million exit.
That's crazy. It's just super
Unheard
crazy.
of, right?
Yeah.
And they have done it again and again and again. So
Hmm. That's where the value is. That's, I
that's where the
mean,
value is. And that I think answers your question that, you know, from eBay to Groupon to most of these companies are, you know, in this new world are what you call software businesses or SaaS businesses. And with cloud in existence, you know, you can just pop some servers on AWS or Oracle Cloud and just put your software there and focus on execution on the ground, and you're done. You don't need to go.
if you can do it, if you can do it.
You can do
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's kind of our not so secret mission on the show. You're talking about silly ideas like elevator small talk generator, but kind of using that as a context
Mm-hmm.
to dig into this bigger stuff because there's such a huge premium on the idea. Like no one would even think to make a copycat business, but look how successful those guys have been.
$32 billion.
Um, yeah, it's amazing. But your business was unique. I mean, you found a market gap. Like no one else is really competing there, and you had a better way to compete. And I'm
Yeah.
sure you have your own systems. Like no one else does it like you do, right?
Yes, but after a certain time, you have to, as I said, you have to reinvent yourself every few years. Otherwise, especially in tech business, you're out of the market if you're not reinventing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So every few months, few years, take a few steps back, reevaluate. Is this strategy gonna take us? As I said, from 100 to 200, 200 to 5. It's a different journey.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to set some realistic goals as well as plan the next steps to reach those goals in the time which you have decided.
Mm-hmm.
And then you
5
reevaluate.
months. We're gonna sell for 100 million in 5 months.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you really need to plan your execution strategy well. That's all I can say.
Yeah. Yeah. So you don't have family in it. You went to business school and they definitely don't teach you how to build a company. They teach you how to administer it in business school. But how did you stumble across, the right path of execution and developing and scaling a team?
I personally feel that your background and your family has a huge support system which can get you there. With me growing up, we were, three siblings, me, my brother, and my sister. And my mom and dad both were teachers. My brother did phenomenally well in his career. He did his engineering and then was into sales. and so did my sister. When it came to me, I always thought that, yes, I started my journey with Tatas, which are one of the most renowned. I'm not sure you've heard of them or not. Tata Group is one of the most renowned Indian business family. I think they are 130 some years old company. They're
Jeez.
pretty much everywhere. They have their cars. So they own Land Rover and Jaguar, by the way.
All right. Wow.
Yes, so they have their car company. They have their software company. TCS is, I think, in top 5 service providers. They have their steel company. They're pretty much everywhere. Okay. So I started my career with them out of the college. Worked with them. Worked with Mahindra's, which is another big business family based out of India. And then I always had that thing in me that if these guys can do it, why can't I?
Yeah.
And then I came to this country. I always say that US gives you wings. If you have the right set of DNA and idea, and if you are open to taking risks, right, you can make it big here. So the opportunities were right in front of me at every single step. I just had to pick it. That's all. So yeah.
That's amazing. And now, how do brother and sister feel about your business?
Oh, they feel great. They are very proud of me. My mom, dad. My mom is not there anymore. She left us in 2017. But my whole family is very proud of me, and they always talk about, so when are we going public?
There you go. Is that the plan? Well, you don't have to say it. We're on record. That's amazing. So, well, I'll ask you this: after you go public or transact, whatever is in the cards for you, is the plan to buy Land Rover and then a steel company and like turn yourself into a conglomerate?
Well, I already have a Range Rover.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. Right? I mean, I'm that kind of person that I'm enjoying the journey. Right? When I started it, I was, I could not sleep some of the days, and stress levels were high. And, so now, one thing which I've learned after 11 years of the business, that if I keep stressing every single day, I am not getting younger. I have kids now. I have 3 and 7. So I want to make sure that I balance my family life with my professional life. So now, since last 5 years or so, I am enjoying the ride like no other. Like every single day I wake up with a smile. I see what are the things I need to do. I spend and do that. So I'm taking baby steps. There is a plan to do whatever I have imagined in my dreams. And, sometimes I lay it out in front of my friends. Some friends laugh at me. Some are like, hey, you can do it. But it doesn't bother me. For me, I am going to do what I have to do. And let's see what's next. That's all.
Well, I mean, you are, and extremely successfully at that. So that's amazing. Well, across all that, I'm really grateful for you making some time for us at the expense of your business and your family. This is really fantastic to learn from you. I need to get a final verdict on our idea, though.
Sure.
So, small talk generator for the elevator. What do we think?
A big no on that. But if we can integrate your glasses and AI with the app and build a nice hardware software combination, then maybe.
Maybe. All right.
Maybe.
All right. How do people find you if they want to connect or come hear you speak? Like, where do they go?
They can reach out to me on LinkedIn. I am available. I do get a lot of messages on LinkedIn, but I do look at all of them. And there are times when I don't know how people find my phone number, then they pick up and call. But even when they call, I always pick up. I'm a salesman myself, right? You cannot be a founder and not sell. That's also one lesson learned very hard way, that you have to have the DNA of salesman inside you to build a business. It's a very hard skill to find. You can find all other skills, but finding a good business development person is very hard. So one way is that start by yourself, learn that business development side, and then down the line you can hire more people, because by learning that, you now know better whom to hire and whom not to hire.
Yeah, what to look for.
So whenever a salesperson calls me, I always give them that 1 minute, hey, tell me what you're talking about. And I'm not those kind of people that will just hang up, because I have learned it the hard way myself. So I have that respect for all the business development folks out there.
Yeah. And let them go for it. All right. So we'll make sure to add that in the subtext when the video goes live. And here's your phone number.
Just don't publish my phone number, because I still want to focus on my business.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you so much. Super grateful for the time. This is super fun.
Thanks to you too, Nick. This was fun, and especially the bad idea portion is fascinating, and it was a great conversation. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. I super appreciate it.